You don't text first. Not because you forget, not because you don't care, but because something in you pauses. You open the chat, you think about what to say, and then you don't. There's a moment there, small, quiet, almost invisible, but it happens every time. And if you've ever wondered why you wait, why you hold back, the answer isn't what you think. It doesn't feel like a decision. It feels like hesitation, like your mind is running a quiet background process, checking something, measuring something, before allowing you to act. You might tell yourself, they should text first. I don't want to seem needy. Let's see if they care enough. But underneath those thoughts, there's something deeper, a pattern. In psychology, this is often connected to something called social risk calculation. Your brain is constantly predicting outcomes. Every message you send is a small emotional risk. Will they reply? Will they ignore it? Will you feel rejected? So instead of acting, your mind delays. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. Because from your brain's perspective, rejection, even small, even digital, feels like a threat. Not physical, but social. And the brain treats social pain almost the same way it treats physical pain. That's why a simple "seen" can feel heavier than it should. Inside your brain, there's a system always scanning for safety. You can think of it like a guard, quiet, observant, always alert. Before you text first, this guard asks, is it safe? Not logically, emotionally. And if the answer is uncertain, you wait. But here's where it gets misunderstood. You're not lazy. You're not cold. You're not playing games. You're regulating. There's a concept in psychology called attachment patterns. Some people move towards connection. They reach out quickly. Others move with caution. They observe first. Not because they don't feel, but because they feel deeply. And when feelings are deep, the cost of being ignored feels higher. So your brain creates distance, just enough to stay safe. It's not about texting. It's about vulnerability. Sending the first message is a small act of emotional exposure, and your system has learned exposure should be measured. There's also another layer, something quieter, more cognitive. It's called overthinking loops. You don't just send a message, you simulate it. You imagine how it will sound, how it will be read, how it might be misunderstood. Your brain runs many scenarios, fast, automatic, like a chess player thinking 5 moves ahead. But instead of helping, it slows you down. Because every possibility adds friction, and friction leads to delay. So by the time you're ready to text, the moment feels gone, and silence feels easier. But none of this means something is wrong with you. In fact, it means your brain is working exactly as designed. It's trying to balance 2 things, connection and protection. And sometimes, protection wins. Now here's the shift. What if not texting first isn't a flaw, but a signal? A signal that your brain values meaning over impulse. That you don't act just to fill silence, that you wait for something to feel right. That's not weakness, that's selectivity. But like any system, it can become too cautious, too protective. And when that happens, you don't just avoid risk, you also miss connection. So the question isn't, why don't I text first? The real question is, when is my mind protecting me, and when is it holding me back? There's a simple way to understand this. Think of your mind like a dimmer switch, not just on or off, but adjustable. Some moments require caution, others require action. But if the switch is always low, your world becomes quiet. Too quiet. So here are a few gentle shifts, not to change who you are, but to bring balance. First, notice the pause. that moment before you decide not to text. Don't judge it, just observe it, because awareness reduces automatic behavior. In neuroscience, this is called bringing unconscious patterns into conscious control. The moment you see it, you're no longer fully controlled by it. Second, lower the meaning. Not every message is a test. Not every reply defines your worth. Your brain tends to assign high emotional weight to small social actions. But in reality, a message is just a message. Reducing its importance reduces the perceived risk. Third, shift from outcome to expression. Instead of thinking, what if they don't reply? Ask, do I want to say something? This moves your brain from fear-based prediction to value-based action, which is a healthier cognitive frame. Fourth, use small exposures. You don't need to suddenly become someone who always texts first. Just start small. A simple message, a short response, a low-pressure interaction. In psychology, this is called gradual exposure. It helps your brain learn that the risk isn't as dangerous as it assumed. And finally, allow space for uncertainty. Not everything needs control. Not every outcome needs to be predicted. Your brain seeks certainty because it feels safe, but real connection always contains uncertainty, and learning to sit with that is part of emotional growth. Over time, something changes. The pause becomes shorter, the fear becomes quieter, and texting first doesn't feel like a risk anymore, just a choice. And maybe that's the real point, not to force yourself to act, but to understand what's happening inside you, so your actions come from awareness instead of avoidance. Because in the end, you were never someone who didn't text first. You were someone whose mind learned to protect a little too carefully. And now you're learning how to choose when to stay safe and when to reach out. Quietly, gently, on your own terms.